It's Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much for joining me on this Wednesday, February 4th. I appreciate you guys. Hope you're doing well. Get active inside the comment box. Let me know where you're watching from, and let me know how your week is going. All right, we've made it to Wednesday. Okay, so we're kind of, we can see the weekend in sight. Give me your scale of this week on a scale of like 1 to 10. All right, I'm curious, honestly. I hope that you guys are doing well, and thanks for kicking it with me this morning on Wake Up Bama, the podcast that drops every single morning at 4 a.m. or live every day, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Live news as it happens, some basketball watch-alongs, and go live on the weekends as well. You know how we roll. I've been kind of floating with like the weekend times. Been going like at live at like 1, 2, kind of letting it breathe for a little bit. I just, because I want the podcast to breathe a little bit, and sometimes I wonder, am I giving it enough time to breathe from like Wake Up Bama to 10? So I get it. There's enough hours, but still we want to stretch it out. We don't want it to become, too much. So I appreciate you guys being here today. Thank you so much. Just about, 15 minutes or so ago, Alabama football officially released a statement that Adrian Clem has been hired as the official offensive line coach. Now, people, they scoop the news. This has already been known, but let's kind of rehash over some bullet points as we kind of begin our show, because I feel that this is probably the most significant hire and probably one of the most important jobs outside of Ryan Grubb going into this season, right? I mean, you talk about pressure, right? There's a lot of pressure in year 3. Would you agree with that? I think so. I think that there's pressure in year 3, and for the right reasons. Year 3 is a time where you've had enough time to kind of build your roster, establish some sort of an identity, understand from a coaching situation, look, these are our strengths, these are weaknesses. This is kind of where we need to go. This is where we need to tighten up a little bit. If we need to make some modifications from the coaching staff, we can do that. Adjust to the roster, adjust to now being in the SEC. And year 3, that gives you enough time. Think about it like this. If you've ever moved anywhere, right, by year 3, you should be already thriving. Like, you should have everything on track. And I think the first couple years, the first year of anything is a little bit bumpy because there's unexpected things. But like this particular time, I feel that year 3, there's a lot of pressure, which brings me to Adrian Clem, because the offensive line was clearly not it. We had 2 years under Coach Kapilovic, and we didn't have the right mentality. We didn't have the right physical and psychological disposition in that area to be able to dominate. It didn't seem like the guys had it. I mean, as big as a guy as Jaden Roberts was, and the guy never played, right? He was always banged up, and it didn't seem like any of the linemen just wanted to, and I'm talking like offensive linemen particularly, like kind of, I don't know. It didn't seem like they had kind of that dog mentality. So we go into this next season with a new offensive line coach, Adrian Clem, and kind of some bullet points. He's got 15 total years of coaching experience. What I love is that he won Super Bowls as a player, right? That's important. I mean, how many guys, think about, okay, here's a question. This would be your trivia question, all right? Who else on Alabama's staff, this is good. Who else on Alabama's staff has won a Super Bowl? I'll let you guys think about that. Who else on the staff has won a Super Bowl? Because this man's won 3 of them. Okay, he's got 3 rings. So he's got the experience from the NFL. He's got the experience from college. You blend that together over the last, 5-6 seasons, I think that should translate well to what we got cooking here, because let's face it, this is a feeder program for the NFL. Okay, and we want it to stay that way. And it's important that it stays that way. And it's important that we continue to send guys to the league. Now, how many guys are we sending in the first round from Bama? That's another thing to think about. How many guys total? I don't know. But how many guys in the first round? It seems to me like there's only going to be one guy. Okay, we want to elevate those numbers. We want to have guys going into the league in the first round. That's something that this place is known for. We don't ever want that to slip. So he's got the NFL, the Power 5 background. We love it. Love to see it. I mean, he's coached at Oregon, right? He was just at USC as an analyst. The Oregon squad, like in 2023, I think he was there. They ran the ball. They protected the quarterback. They did all the right things, right? The NFL, he's with the Steelers, Patriots. And I think one of the things that at least I've gathered from doing research on him is the offensive line is known for protecting its quarterback, which is a huge green flag, right? And I've also heard that he's a very tough coach, which I think we need. We need backbone. We need structure. We need those guys to be able to push themselves to the ultimate level. And I think, strong recruiting has been kind of tied in as well, and a developer. So all those things that we're mentioning, that seems to fit right in. Now, it's a big job, and it's an important job. And there's not a lot of time that he has to kind of sit around and, kind of figure things out. This is not a rebuilding season, okay? And I know the offensive line, it's young. It's going to be new. The quarterback, new. The running back, new. Wide receivers, new, right? And when you look to the offensive line, I don't know. I mean, that's kind of where it all starts. And so Agent Clem, his challenge is getting offensive line activated as soon as possible. What that means is, okay, filling out, like, what do we have? Do we have a quality too deep? Because the too deep it always tells me about where you're at. Do we have a too deep? I think if I was to like sketch it out, I would say, yeah, we do. I don't know exactly where the guys are going per se, but I would say I would feel comfortable. Like, you know what? Like if Alabama played, like, I don't know, UAB, that's what they should do for spring football. That's what they should do. They should have basically a game for spring football against somebody else. Like, you should play Jacksonville State, right? You should play a South Alabama. You should play a UAB for a day. The game is at Bryant-Denny Stadium. They figure out, the structuring, or they keep it free, or whatever you want to do. Maybe some ideas that I had last night. I don't know if you caught last night's late show, but I was throwing out some ideas. They were fun. We were having fun with it last night. That was fun, Kyle, right? This is more like Wednesday morning, Kyle. But my point is, that would be interesting to see Alabama. Would you be up for that? Comment box. Would you be up for Alabama playing some sort of spring game against somebody else? Almost like kind of like an OTA, to where you're able to play somebody and get some real feedback and real assessment of where things stood. Because then you could build out your offensive line, just to kind of see it. And if everyone's like, injuries are going to happen regardless. Where have most injuries happened for Alabama? Seriously, where have they all happened? It seems that they all happen at practice. Guys are going to get hurt every year. Going into this year, guys are going to get hurt. That's just it, right? That's just part of the game. That's just football. I mean, a 265-pound guy falls on a 300-pound guy. Yeah, things are going to happen. This is it, right? So, I guess we'll have to, see what the offensive line has in store moving forward under Agent Clem. I don't know. Okay, how excited are you about kind of the overall hire? On a scale of 1 to 10. You thrilled about Agent Clem coming in? 10? 8, 7, 6, you're like, I don't know, Kyle. I have no idea. I have to see it. I'm probably like a 7. I asked for some NFL experience. We got it. What about you guys? And good morning to everybody. We'll do some shout outs here in just a minute. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much. Man, okay, look. Todd's saying 8. Ricky Smith's saying 8. Caraway, wow, really high. Wow, way higher than I thought. 10, 8. Okay, good. Yeah, love it. Love to see it. That's that Wednesday morning spirit, okay? Jarvis with the slam dunk says he's bringing a lot of experience. Mac asking the right questions. Are we having A Day this year? I don't know, bro. I've been trying to figure that out as well. I think they should. There's no additional portal window. What's up, Peaches? Why don't you come over here? Yeah, there's no other portal window, so why not? I definitely think so. Okay, so welcome, Adrian Clem. We appreciate it. And, we'll see how it goes. Come over here, Peaches. Let's see. I think Peach wants to say what's up. All right, get some Peachy action this morning. All right, here's Peach. She's going to kick it with us just for a minute. There's a big girl. She's 20, I think 27 pounds. So that's a big, she's a female. She's 5 years old. She's my 5-star. This is the most incredible athlete. I'm serious. The other one that I have, that one's like a potato. Seriously, it's like having a potato. Let's see who's up in the show today. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for kicking it. All right, let's see who we got. We have Bruce Williams. What's up, man? Good to see you. Short Game. Good to see you. Good morning to you. Good morning, Cody. Good morning, Max. Good morning, Bruce. Good morning, Capstone Farms. Appreciate you guys being here. Bruce Williams always letting us know that he's out in Fort Wayne. We got Miss Anna. What's up, Anna? Appreciate you being here. We got Robert Bradley Jr. Thank you so much. We got Bot Ricks. Has joined the program. Chris G, what's up, man? Good to see you. Danny the Great, what's going on? Antoine, love to see it, man. That old hoodie, dude, is just that it's fire, bro. We'll raffle that out the next time too. By the way, 2 people are in the raffle for Friday, so it's gonna be mano y mano. Capstone Farms, what's up, brother? Good to see you. Dano, good to see you. Dan Caraway up in the house. Max Shaky, what's up? Jarvis calling in or checking in. Appreciate you. And Jarvis letting us know that Alabama minus 8.5 over Texas A&M. We will do a watch along tonight, by the way. And Lag Gaming, yes, we will talk about Joey Aguilar, who's going to come back for his 7th season. Good morning, Rex. What's up, man? Appreciate you being here as well. Thank you for joining the program. Bama Outdoors says, Roll Tide. What's up, man? Good to see you as well. And Mark Smith, man, what's up? Good to see you, bro. Thank you for everybody joining us. And again, this is, I'm kicking it right here with Peaches, all right? This is Peach. The other one is Pearl. Thank you to our live show sponsors. If you want to be a sponsor of the show or if you want to become a fan funder, it's really easy to do. You just hit that join button. There's many different options. I update this every once in a while, and I appreciate all you guys supporting the show on a monthly basis. There's different levels too. So check it out. Just hit that join button. If you're watching on your phone, it's really easy to do. You can also go to the homepage of Bama Football on YouTube and just click the join button to see the options that we have available. Thank you so much. And with this, I do include some behind-the-scenes videos for fan funders. So if you know, you know. So thank you again. Okay. I was sent this graphic yesterday, right? And I was looking at it, and it has Coach Saban and it has Coach Kalen DeBoer side by side after their first 2 seasons, right? As you can see up at the top, neither has won a national title. Bowl wins 1. I think that's kind of a questionable marking because, in my opinion, Coach Kalen DeBoer hasn't won a bowl game. But then again, you go back to that whole, was the playoff a bowl game? That's always like an interesting, thing. It's like, I don't think it was, but people are like, yes, that was a bowl when they beat Oklahoma in the playoffs. My thought is like, which bowl was it? And they're like, it was the playoff bowl. So I don't know. You tell me. Conference wins, Coach Kalen DeBoer has 12. The GOAT had 9 at this point in time. And then total wins, 19, and Coach Kalen DeBoer 20. Okay, man, wouldn't it be crazy if we had like Bama football on YouTube back then? Like, what were people saying back then? What were people, saying about Saban? Those of you that were here, what were people saying? Let me honestly, if you were here After 2 seasons, you're like, I don't know, bro. Just maybe think about it. Were they questioning Coach Saban? Was he under heavy scrutiny? What do you think? Seriously, and if you have to rewatch, and comment, that's cool. I would say the thing about Coach Kalen DeBoer is his approval rating is high. The thing about it is the staff right now, specifically the Grubb, has kind of been a main talking point from like a negative standpoint, right? But I think too is like, and I've pointed out a lot of different positives about Kalen DeBoer over these first 2 years. And I'm 100% adamant that the only reason that it's not even higher approval rating, or why some people are still skeptical, it comes down to two things. Number one, the nature of the losses that DeBoer has had, right? Like those losses, I mean, they would be nice. How many games did Coach Saban lose within the first 2 years? I guess that's another, element that we could add to the graphic. But the nature of the losses, right? And I think like the other thing is running the football. Those are the two things. And since Alabama has lost in some ugly ways over the last 2 years and they're not running the football, I think that's what's like really pissing off fans, right? But DeBoer has more SEC wins. DeBoer has more total wins. I think DeBoer probably has more total losses than Saban. That's another thing that should be added. I didn't make this graphic. I saw it on College Sports Buzz. And the big separator, and that's why I was kind of leading off in the beginning of the show, talking about year 3 being such a pivotal year, right? Because the GOAT, you know what he did in year 3, right? 14-0. So you want to talk comparisons? Yeah, this graphic is nice, and it's, yeah. Let's see it after year 3. Because year 3, that's when things got completely turned up, and that's when he went from being a really good college coach to being the greatest college football coach ever. And what followed that was consistency and performance at a level that will probably never, ever be able to be duplicated again. And Danny the Great brings up a great point, bro. 100%. And I think the thing is like, if you do take out the former and you just look at it for what it is, guess who you compare him to? Mike Elko. Texas A&M fans are thrilled to have Elko. DeBoer's won more games than Elko over a 2-year span. You could also compare him to Cignetti. I think that was a formula that worked. That was also lightning that struck, and I wonder if that can strike again this coming season. And look, Cignetti, what is his record over 2 years? 27-2? Yeah, I think it's something like that with a perfect season. What can you do the next 5 to 10 years? Right? And let me ask you this inside the comment box. How important is year 3? I'm going to post that inside the comment box today. How important is year 3 for Coach KD? We'll do high, mid, low. That's way easier. High, mid, low. Okay. Go ahead and vote inside the comment box. How big is year 3 for Coach KD? I'm curious to see this one. I fall in that same category early on too. I think it's extremely high, to be honest. I think fans, and you know what? Fans have been really, I think I was figuring, because there's a large people that are on DeBoer and they don't like him, this stuff, but I would say the far great majority has been patient, way more patient than I thought. But I think this year is telling because everybody knows. They're like, okay, you've been here. We've given you grace. You've taken steps forward, right? You've taken some on the chin. This is your team now. This is your identity now. What can you do this year? And I think that's why it goes down from, DeBoer, the pressure overall is high. Grubb, oh my goodness, that guy is, every single thing that the offense does is going to be, and he don't even have a lot of experience. And then on the defensive side, he should be good. But I think that, you're right. That's probably it. Jarvis is the honeymoon phase is like, okay, let's see where you're at right now. I think it's extremely high for sure. And you've retained most of your coaching staff too, right? I think over the last 2 years, like you've lost 4 coaches, which is a low number. Nick Sheridan, Shep, Hitchler, and Coach Cap. You had to fire 2 of those guys. 2 of those other guys went for different opportunities. There's always going to be staff assistants and whatever that kind of leak out underneath. But in terms of like the main 4, he's had pretty good continuity. Mark Smith says, how can it be so high when he has a whole new offensive line, brand new, young, unproven quarterback, uncertainty with the running game? See, Mark Smith, that's a good question. But I think it's because it's just year 3 overall. I know. But the offense, bro, I'm with you, dude. The offense is young. That's why those first 5 games are so imperative, that the defense kind of holds the rope. And allows the offense to catch up. By the way, news just in. Man, this Bediako thing is crazy. Charles Bediako's attorney on Wednesday filed a motion in Tuscaloosa County Court requesting that his preliminary injunction hearing, scheduled for this Friday, be postponed until February 18th. Man, they are just going to keep pushing this out until the season is over. Man. That's wild. So, again, that's just out there. Bediako was supposed to see a judge on Friday. They're trying to push that back to the 18th of February. Wild, huh? What a time. What a time. Dan Carey, you were right, man. You called it. Yeah, I told you. Yeah, dude, you're right. They'll push it 100%. Okay, so I guess the takeaway from this is we need to add the losses. How many games did Saban lose within those first 2 seasons? I think it's kind of close because he lost 6 that first season, right? Well, we can just count it real quick. All right, let's see. Saban coaching years, wins and losses. That was weird how I typed that in. Let's see what it says. Okay. So his first 2 years here at Bama, 8. Well, that's an interesting stat, too. Hasn't Coach Kalen DeBoer lost 8 games, too? Yo, that's crazy. Wow, so that number should be on there. They both lost 8 games, too. Wild. As you know, yesterday we celebrated a commitment. And I think somebody inside the comment box was asking if there's another commitment coming in today. I don't think so. But keep in mind, as you get closer to that 105 roster, whatever, you could add on guys until you fill it up. So don't be surprised if like guys kind of leak in on the back end. So we're going to talk about Amari Sabb right now. You guys excited about getting another Sabb? You know what's dope? He's in his, I don't know if this is his brother's like uniform per se, because they have a bunch of uniforms that they could wear for like their photo shoots and stuff. But I'm going to tell you what, you could tell a lot by somebody's smile. This dude seems happy, right? It makes me smile. So Amari Sabb, okay, first of all, Keon Sabb's brother committed yesterday on Tuesday. You know what? Today is like today is the old National Signing Day. Isn't that crazy? We're doing this is what we're doing. We're doing our show and our normal stuff. Remember when signing day was like Christmas? It would be like if all of a sudden signing day was huge. It was so big. It was like, because there's nothing really going on in February, right? But like signing day was like the North Star. It was literally like Christmas. It would be like if they just change Christmas to like, I don't know, August, whatever. Remember signing day was just huge? So Amari Sabb commits yesterday to the side. He's 2026 prospect, 5'9". Look, 24/7 has him at 155 pounds. I think On 3 has him at 170, so I just put him at 160 pounds. I don't know. They'll get him where he needs to be. Surely he's not going to play here at 150 pounds. I mean, 150 pounds, yo, that's light, right? Wide receiver, DB, special teams, okay? He's going to play wide receiver here. As I mentioned, he's the brother of Keon Sabb, okay? And his other brother, they also have another brother who is named Xavier, and he's a 5-star, right? So he's going to play wide receiver here, okay? And what the amazing thing to me, dark too light. Yo, I'm serious, man. You know what? The quarterbacks are getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and the wide receivers are getting shorter and shorter. Am I right? Dark too light? We're going to get 6'6" quarterbacks, but we're going to get 5'9" receivers. Now, look, you do have some other your receiving core. I'll show it in a second. You got some height in there, but some of the last couple guys, and I think probably by design, are a little bit undersized, right? Kind of like the Malachi Tony type guys. And that dude was a menace, bro. So Xavier, the brother, is a 5-star. He's a 3-star. But you know what I find really interesting about this? This is the second consecutive year that we have a 3-star wide receiver coming from the state of New Jersey. How rare is that? And you know how well it worked out for us with Lazier Brooks. Now, I watched this guy's tape, okay? I liked it. It was good. The only thing that I question, okay, if you're going to be like this size, you better be lightning. I'm talking like we can't even see you on film. I'm going to say this as positive criticism. In my opinion, he didn't look that fast, okay? He's fast, clearly. He's outrunning people, but he didn't look like lightning. Just my initial take, okay? So now you have Keon Sabb coming back. You have Amari Sabb on the rosters. You got 2 Sabbs. And then next year, I see you guys talking inside the comment box, setting up perfectly for another 5-star athlete to come on board. You know, the class of 2027 is going to be ridiculous. Right? I would imagine that Xavier comes here. There's no way the 2 brothers come over here and then, they're posted up in Tuscaloosa. They have his bedroom ready and their big, their mansion that they're living in over here. And then Xavier's like, nah, man, I'm going somewhere else. Oh, man. Yeah, Smitty was really undersized. But Saban said, he was like, how much does the football weigh? Right? I mean, even now when you watch the NFL, you look at Smitty and he just looks like kind of bones out there. But, man, there's no one tougher than Smitty. My favorite player. My favorite player for sure. Out of all the guys, I've thought about this a lot of times. Out of all the players to roll through since I've been here, mine is Smitty. The mindset, the mentality, right? So when we look to the wide receiver room, we got to update this. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, because we have 10 receivers. Okay. We have 10 wide receivers in the tank, right? So you got your guys' size, right? But let's kind of go through it real quick. And now we can assess, let's reassess the wide receiver room. On a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel about the wide receiver room? 10 being like, this is the best wide receiver unit we've ever had. This is like the best. 8, you're like, pretty good. 7, you're like, okay, yeah, we got some guys. 6, you're like, yeah, we got some guys where I need to see them. 5, you're like, mid. Got Ryan Williams, right? Everybody's praying for a bounce back year. You got Rico Scott, probably one of the fastest players in the nation that didn't play hardly at all last year. Lazier Brooks, just an incredible weapon. Derek Meadows, probably a fan favorite. Some people feel he could be the best receiver on the team, although he didn't even play 60 snaps last year. But people just kind of have that feeling. I think people are probably most excited about Derek Meadows and AK Deer. Just from reading the comment box. Run the Table Sports doesn't think the room is good at all. Sedarian Morgan, right? Freshman phenom coming in. Absolute monster in high school. And then Noah Rogers. Good experience coming in from NC State as a transfer. You got MG Cherwick, who was a walk-on last year. Now he's on scholarship. You got, in the first 3 prospects, as I pointed out on Wake Up Bama, by Derek Nix. And I don't think this is, his recruiting prowess, but the first 3 that he gets, they're all 3 stars. So, that's kind of where we're at. So you really only have 2 guys that played 2 out of the 8, right? Or 2 out of the 10. So 20%, right, of Alabama's receivers were here last year. 80% were not. So, this is our room. We're going in. Will we get, 2 more wide receivers? Probably. I don't know who they'll be or, what will happen, but I don't know. Keep your heads on a swivel. I would imagine that they keep loading up everywhere. All right. We have another court case that should be really interesting to watch. Joey Aguilar versus the NCAA. And have you seen this? This is like new, okay? So, he's basically arguing that his junior college, it's kind of reminds me of the Diego Pavia situation, right? Arguing that the junior college eligibility shouldn't affect it, right? He's been at App State. He's been at Tennessee. He comes back. This would be his 7th season. And I guess, it's going to be interesting for all those junior college guys because as this happens more and more, and this even happened with Justin Jefferson, that's why he was allowed to play. What do you think is going to happen here? Because another temporary restraining order. Man, how many lawyers does the NCAA have? Seriously. They're getting sued every day. And it's like they lose every single case. It's like the NCAA has no rules and they're just losing on all fronts from every single situation. Aguilar is going to come back 100%, just like Trinidad Chambliss is for Ole Miss. Right? So this is going to happen. In the NCAA, I think it's just, as you looked at, stuff happening with Bediako, you look at this happening here with Joey. There's so many different situations where the NCAA is being pressed in different type of areas because there's not exactly rules specifically to a lot of these areas which are gray. So kind of tying this in, and I would imagine he plays, okay? He's going to play for his 7th year. Okay. But it kind of leads me to what AJ McCarron was recently talking about. Do you think that this happens? Do you think that there is a time where the SEC should just break away? Yes or no? Inside the comment box. Oh, man. I mean, he said, this is the point that I like the most. He said that Greg Sankey has a lot of leverage here because of the SEC's relationship with ESPN. Let's not get it twisted that ESPN only operates because of the SEC. Okay? They are going to follow the SEC around like they would pay whatever Alabama wanted for those ratings. Right? I mean, there was a time, I mean, and it's still pretty much this way. I mean, as soon as anything happens Alabama related, ESPN is basically Alabama's biggest network. So he said because ESPN and all the money that comes with it, that they would follow the SEC. And he argued that they should kind of pick up teams along the way. And, go from whatever, where we got 16 teams, we go to like 32 teams. And it's just kind of whatever, SEC college football. Let me ask you this, inside the comment box, do you think that we're getting closer to having like this sort of situation happen to where the SEC or something, or do you think, okay, here's the question. How many more years until the NCAA just breaks? Do you think we're getting close to that? I kind of do. I think that and I don't know when, but I think it'll be like we move into some sort of situation where the Big Ten and the SEC come together, combine, and then bring in a couple teams, and it's like it's like the top 32 or the top 40 teams, and that's its an entire league. And so you have the NFL, then you have this super semi-pro league, and then you have whatever remains. I kind of think that's what will happen. I think the Big Ten, if the Big Ten and the SEC could ever find common ground, and they're still trying to figure it out, they're trying to go, like the Big Ten wants way more playoff teams. SEC, I think, wants 16 or they're open to it. You just got to figure out how many teams they could do and just break away and become one. And then you'll have all these little island type teams and they'll kind of, forge their own world and they'll be called something else. And then you'll have that league with their own little playoffs. And then you'll have the big boy league. But I don't think the NCAA can hold. I mean, look, this is ridiculous. And here's my far out prediction. I think that if the SEC and the Big Ten create this like world or whatever, they'll have a commissioner, which will either be Sankey or, depending on how quick it moves and kind of where we're at, that's when you see Coach Saban in the later part, in the last stage of his career, setting up the guidelines. His lasting legacy will be building out this league going forward, right? And then he'll just vacation and play golf, for the rest of his life after he has kind of set this up. But right now, everything is crumbling. And you know what? I'm with Ryan. Would you guys be interested in just a 32-team league of just the best of the best? I would say yeah. At this point, yes. With clear rules, clear like outlining eligibility rules, all this sort of stuff. Would you be up for like a 32-team league? Yes or no? I would. Jarvis was our first super chat of the day. $2 spot. It says NCAA stands for no one can agree with anyone. 100%. No one can agree anymore. Oh, man. So, I don't know. I think I would be, right? Can you imagine? And then we can go to kind of like we can format a lot of things after the NFL. The NFL is a proven product that works. We follow their same playoff formula. We get away from the committee, right? Whatever it is, this next league has to be a league that doesn't have a committee picking the teams for the playoffs. I don't want that. Let's figure out our 32 teams, bring them in, and guess what? Here's a kind of a wrinkle in it. You can get relegated to where if you're not performing, you're not hitting the marks, whatever, you don't have the ratings that we want, boom, you're out, and we can take somebody in. Every year, 2 teams are kind of on the relegated list. Right? That would be pretty interesting, to be honest. Yeah, 100%, Ryan. There's no way in hell that all these teams, they're not created equal, period. Kevin just says put basically BCS to it. Or are we asking for BCS? I don't know about that. But however the NFL picks their teams, you separate it into leagues, right? You take the division champs, and then you kind of go on there. That would be cool if you had 32 teams and then separated them like the NFL into like 4-team little divisions, right? However it works out, that would be cool. I would like that. You play the teams maybe, I don't know if you play the teams twice like the NFL, but some sort of around that sort of idea. Man, can you imagine? That could be interesting imagine if like Alabama and Georgia were in the same conference and they had to play each other twice. Then we'd be complaining about that. All right. So we have a basketball game tonight. And heads up, we will have a watch along at 6 p.m. for Alabama and A&M. And to update you, every time that we've done a watch along, Alabama has lost. Okay. So they're 0-2 for the watch alongs. Tonight, I feel more confident because what we got, Jarvis? 8.5. Okay. 8.5 point favorite against Texas A&M. ESPN indicator says Alabama's supposed to win by 70%. With the addition of Charles Bediako, Alabama's 1-3, right? Or is it 1-2? I think they're 1-2. Losing games to Tennessee and they're 1-2. Losing games to Tennessee and to Florida. Tonight, I mean, they seem a little bit healthy. I don't know the status on Bo Bolin yet. But they got guys. I think this is a great contest for Alabama to take clearly a step forward. And I think Alabama, you look at kind of their next 10 games, they could go on quite the run. Kevin Lynch in the super chat. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much. Will Alabama basketball win tonight? Yes or no? Inside the comment box. Yee points out inside the comment box, Texas A&M 7-1 the SEC top of conference. Yikes. Man, this one, could you imagine if they lose this game? We might have to put the kibosh on the watch-alongs. And see, like Nate, that's the biggest thing, bro, is when this team starts kind of trailing. I always grew up, you call a timeout and you just end that run. He lets runs go for a long time. You would be down by like 15 and he'd just be sitting there letting them get out of it. I'd be like, call a timeout, coach. Call a timeout. So come kick it with us tonight at 6 p.m., okay? We'll have a good time. We'll hang out. Bring your wings. Bring whatever you got. We'll have a good time on the show tonight. 6 p.m. Watch along, okay? All right. As you know, the video is powered by Sleeper. All right. Get $20 when you just download the app. Get a $100 deposit, match up to $100, and use the promo code, which is tailgate. Okay. So please support Sleeper as they support your boy, and I appreciate you guys doing that. Okay. So call line's been a little dry lately. Okay. Didn't get any calls yesterday. So we're going to take a slow down on the calls, and we're going to do a Q&A. All right, we're switching it up today. I get it. Don't want to call in. We'll save that. We'll go with we'll slow down the call-in line, and, maybe we'll do it like once a week so we can kind of have the volume. I totally get it. It's February, right? But I'm going to tell you, I'm going to still show up, though, okay? I just have to for me, but I totally get where you're at, man. Holloway should be playing tonight, John. So you got here's our first question. So whatever question that you have, throw it up on the board. John, what's up, man? Good to see you, man. Hope you're off to a good Wednesday. Thank you so much for being here. Is Holloway playing tonight? Yes, he is playing tonight. And he adds, look, when Holloway's on, man, shoot. I love Holloway's game. I know Phylon kind of gets some of the headlines, but Holloway, him and Phylon are, man, I love it. And kind of the addition now of right cell too. You got 3 guys in there that can shoot, that can move the ball around. You got your bigs, right? Aiden Sherrill. You got Bediako. You got a lot for sure, 100%. What else you guys got? All right, let's see what Kevin has to say. Kevin says, outside of the conference, A&M hasn't really played anybody, and that's why, despite their conference record, they're not in the top 25. Okay. Yeah, I was thinking about that. I was like, man, you got them coming in tonight with the, as he pointed out, with the 7-0 or 7-1 record in the SEC. I'm curious to see how that game goes for sure. Ricky Smith, what's up, man? He says, what happened to our 3-point shooting? Well, you know what? They actually shot well against Florida. They did. They shot well from the field. They shot well from 3-point land, and that's kind of been up and down, right? But it's like the problem last game was the turnovers. They had 18 turnovers to Florida's 2. By the way, that Florida team, I don't want to take anything away from them, but that team plays some of the best defense that I've seen all year. That Florida team is really, really good, 100%. Big Homie says, Kyle, why is David Blue taking some of the blame for our offensive and defensive line struggles? I don't know. That's a good question. I think maybe from like a physicality standpoint, right? Strength and conditioning coach, maybe people like, well, this is it. I know exactly why. Because he's not Scott Cochran. That's why. And I think like people are never going to be happy. Scott Cochran was so impactful to people here because of his personality, because of the way that he interacted with people. And David Blue is almost the complete opposite. Like around the team, yeah, he can get the team going. Even before the game, he's the guy that speaks to them, right? But he's more introverted in like his presence around Tuscaloosa, whereas Scott Cochran was the complete opposite. He came here, he started the 5K run. He was like really active, and he just won over so many people. So David Blue is naturally a name that he's never going to get, he's always going to be more attacked than celebrated. Let's see. Antoine says, what are your thoughts on approval rating of Blue and the strength and conditioning? To be honest, I mean, it seems like, from what we hear from Coach Kalen DeBoer talk about like the analytics of the team and kind of where they are from a GPS standpoint, this should be one of the faster teams that we have coming back. It's been really amazing to see. And a name that probably doesn't get enough recognition, in my opinion, is Jeff Allen. I mean, what Jeff Allen has done I think he's been here 19 years, right? I think it's 18 or 19. So think about the metamorphosis that he's gone through and what he's been able to add to Alabama from the Sports and Science Technology Center and how they've been able to get people healthy, and him working with David Blue. Jeff Allen probably doesn't get celebrated enough. But I think like strength and conditioning, to be honest, I don't know if I really have any like strong complaints there. But I had to think about it. That is an interesting question because a lot of people have been discussing that. How has Charles helped Bama? Good question, Antonio. I don't know if he has. Right? I know that you're like, and a lot of people have been like, is it worth it to have him play? I mean, look, Alabama is not the only program that's doing it. Okay, has he helped him out? Not necessarily, but I think he could, okay? and here's my thought process here. I think if Bediako starts cooking and he finds himself in a rhythm, what is he averaging? Close to like 10 points a game. He's definitely helped on rebounds. He's had some big blocks, and he added something that Alabama was lacking, which was a big athletic big man. I mean, well, let's all face it. And I've said this: Alabama only had Sherrell, and outside of that, that was kind of it. Bediako is a much bigger presence for Alabama than Sherrell. But you can utilize them both, right? But good question. I think a lot of people are asking that. They're like, is this guy even helping? Yes, I think long-term, yes. Even Seth Greenberg recently said that Bediako makes Alabama a championship-style team. Jackson, what's up, man? Does it raise any concern that the strength staff allowed our offensive line on the size of over athleticism? Proctor was too big. One of the biggest things about Caden Proctor was his size, right? Because he played at, like, when he was really big, and then they kind of, he was a guy that really fluctuated in weight. What did he leave at, right? Was he playing at like 365? I mean, should he have been down to, I don't know, 350, 15 pounds less, I don't know. The thing about Caden Proctor, and this is why I kind of ride on Coach Kapilovic, because I looked at Caden Proctor, I looked at Parker Brailsford, I looked to like a Geno Vandermark. I did not see tremendous improvements year over year. Did you? I would have thought that Caden Proctor, and I think that for NFL upside, I still think Caden Proctor has a very high ceiling. Geno Vandermark's already maxed. Jaden Roberts can't stay healthy. Parker Brailsford, I have no idea how that's going to work in the NFL. But I think particularly talking about Caden Proctor, he should have been much more dominant. And he did have a good season, and he will be a first-round guy. But that's when I started questioning kind of Kapilovic in terms of development, because I didn't see a lot of those guys really taking steps forward. Agree? Disagree? Big dude, though, man. And you can't say the same about Tim Keenan. I mean, the transition that they did with Tim Keenan on the defensive side of the ball, man, I never thought Tim Keenan was going to play here. He was just way too heavy. Way, way too heavy. But, man, he's done an amazing job. Alabama Poe talking about the fourth quarter program. And that C. Miller, talked about kind of the analytics. And I think Alabama Poe, that's probably one of the things that's been changed up, right, is how much technology that we have on these guys. I love the GPS. If you ever see them, people make fun of them. They kind of look like a sports bra. But what it is a tracking system. So basically the coach can see where the players are in terms of speed, right, and how much they're really pushing themselves and how much they can push themselves further throughout the season, right? Be like, hey, man, this guy's kind of let off the gas. This is where you can be at your best. I love the technology standpoint, 100%. Wade Crocker says that this changing plays at the line is a huge disadvantage for the offensive line. I think that was an area the offensive line struggled with. Man, we talked about this during the season. There was a point kind of during, I don't know what stretch it was. It seemed like Ty was changing almost everything, right? And I did hear the coaches and some of the offensive linemen talk about communication. That communication has to be up there, like the most important thing, right? And remember when Ty was changing like everything? I forget. There was like a series of games where it was just like, man, and the play clock would be going down to like 1. I like that point. Andy chimes in. He says training is more on explosive power with the focus of being on understanding that every sport is played on one leg 90% of the time. CJ, what's up, man? Says, y'all sleeping on Ryan. I have a feeling he's going to remind us of why he is Hollywood. Yeah, the people. So now I've just put like on the sleeper list. So every time I post something on like the Facebook channel, people are saying, you're sleeping on this guy. So if I don't post about somebody, we're sleeping on him, right? So the guys that we're sleeping on the most are A.K. Deere. We're sleeping on him. Derek Meadows, best receiver on the team. We're sleeping on him. And then who else are we sleeping on? There's like a sleeper list of people that feel that are just gonna have like this, amazing season. I'll tell you what, I'd be the happiest dude if AK Deer, plays significantly in the first couple games. I think he has it. That was one of the more like polarizing things for me, was like, man, why isn't this kid playing? I guess the only reason that I think he wasn't playing, I guess, was because of pass protection. Right? Oh, Rico Scott, yeah. Oh. I don't know. And this was another weird thing. Dano's asking, why did Ryan Grubb move? Okay, this is good. Why did Ryan Grubb, remember when he moved from that's when I knew things were like not right. When he moved from the box to the field for a couple games and then he went back, that's when I was like, oh, man. At first, I was like, okay, he's going there. He's being proactive. And then when I saw still that they were struggling and then he went back to the box, I was like, oh, man, what's happening? That's a big deal, going from the box to the sideline. Right? Gary, what's up, man? Gary says, I think Proctor was close to 380. He never lived. I agree, bro. I think he never. Look, if you look at kind of his statistics, he did well in pass pro and actually in run block too. But I still think he could have been much better. Gary, do you agree with me? I think you already are, but like, he was good, but he wasn't great. Keelan Russell, the GOAT, man. I've been back. It's been about a week or two. I'm glad you're back, brother. Hope all is well, man. Thanks for kicking it. We're here. The biggest thing about me is like the consistency in performance. It's like I gotta be consistent in all of my stuff. That's just, for me, that helps me keep on track. So no matter like if we're in February, if we're in March or June or wherever we're at, I just got to be consistent. And the show will change formats, as we go into, after like May, June, and July. I mean, we'll adjust. But for right now, we'll continue to rock it out going into, March, April, and we'll kind of always self-assess and change things up, add elements, and do different things. That's just how that's how it is. Cool. All right, fam. Well, that's today's show. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much for getting active inside the comment box and you're kicking it with me right here on Bama Football on YouTube. As news happens, I got you covered. Tonight, 6 p.m., come back over, bring your Wingstop. Man, Wingstop, I'm not going to lie, Wingstop sounds really good. Am I right? I don't know. I couldn't like eat wings comfortably like on air, but man, Wingstop sounds good. That ranch goes hard in the paint. You ever had that Wingstop ranch? Man. All right. As we close out, I'll catch you next time. Post your favorite wing restaurant inside the comment box. Favorite wing restaurant, okay? I guess I'll go with, look, Bomb Hours is good. They got a lot of meat on the bone. Buffalo Phil's, they got a good bite, but they're smaller wings. Oh, Wingstop. I mean, and you know what? I like the garlic Parmesan. The big homie's like, it's expensive. Everything's expensive, right? Man, that's why you can't go. That's what we're saying. We put on the too expensive list Jersey Mike's a long time ago. Jersey Mike's is like a specialty place now, right? That's like if you get a bonus, then you can like go there. But you can't take two other people. I can't take my kids to Jersey Mike's. Are you kidding me? It's $70. We made $7 in Super Chats today. Do the math. All right, fam. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for kicking with me right here on Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys. Stay blessed, and we'll catch up with you next episode right here on Bama Football on YouTube. See you, fam. 6 o'clock tonight. Bring your wings.